Greetings, YouTube. So the Supreme Court saved DACA, at least for now. So those children that were brought to the United States as against the law, they were undocumented, their parents brought them when they were minors, cannot immediately be deported. But it was only overturned because of a technicality. Essentially, the racists didn't file the paperwork right. They didn't give a good enough explanation or reason for wanting to kick out people who are nothing but a benefit to our society, who came here when they had no choice. They were children, and they have contributed to society, and they want to get rid of them because they're racists. But it's only temporary. All the shit Gibbons administration has to do is go back to Homeland Security and tell them to come up with a good reason to get rid of these people, or a good racist reason. Make sure all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted, and then resubmit it, and it'll pass. The executive order will stand. And there's not a goddamn thing you can do about it. The racists will eventually win this one. Unless we can get the shit given out of office before that executive order is given. And this is a campaign promise of his, remember. He based almost his entire campaign on his racism. He also based it on misogyny and homophobia and transphobia and anti-Semitism and a number of other things. But the biggest thing was the racism. So he's had no racist wins, really. He's tried desperately. And, for example, the wall he wants to build is an absolute pipe dream. He might as well be asking for unicorns that fart rainbows. But he can kick these people out of the country, back to places, in some cases, these people have never been. Those aren't their homes. Their home is here. They're American. And remember, almost all of the people who are in America are immigrants. Unless you're Native American, you're an immigrant. And when my ancestors showed up, there was no stringent criteria. You showed up at the damn border, you went through the thing, and they said, stamped your paperwork, and they let you in. There were no hurdles to jump. Your justification for coming to America and wanting to be here could be stowaway. I'm serious. You could be a stowaway on a ship, not having paid for your passage, and still be let into the country. That's how Twiddler's family got here. They walked through the door when the bar was so low that even he could slime over it. But now they keep increasing the bar. Why? Because the people trying to get into the country now aren't white. That's why. This is all about the racism. And while I'm really glad that the DACA decision was overthrown by the Supreme Court, it's just a delaying tactic. These people will be eventually evicted unless we can get the shit given out of office and an executive order from the next president can stop this. And Joe Biden says he'll actually make sure that happens, but I don't know. I mean, it would look good, and they are benefiting the economy, so maybe he will do it. He's a blue dog Republican, so maybe if he appeals to big business, they'll let him do it, because he's deep in big business's pockets. Yeah, I really hate Joe Biden on a political level, but he's a hell of a lot better than the shit given. So I'm glad that the DACA folks got to stay for right now. And I pray that we can get an executive order in place before they get deported. Because they shouldn't be. They have as much right to be here as all the rest of us do. They contribute. They're as American as we are. And they didn't get here in any worse a way than our ancestors did. White people didn't evolve here, folks. We're all immigrants. We seem to forget that part. We've also forgotten about, the slavery and the genocide and the oppression of the indigenous people. But we're good at that, to forgetting. We don't like to think about it. But right now it's time to think about it. Right now it's time for a lot of hard thinking. We have to face our reality and our past if we're going to have a better future. But at the minute, I guess I'll take a win when we can get one.